This is super interesting. One of the most interesting interviews I've seen in a while. Nigel Farage was a member of the British Parliament under the UKIP party. That's the UK Independence Party. It's a right-wing populist rhetoric type party that has a lot of overlap with MAGA Trumpism, as disturbing and hilarious as that is. Nigel Farage for a while has been saying, I don't think Trump should keep talking about how 2020 was rigged. Whether it was or wasn't rigged, Trump shouldn't keep talking about it. It's not going to help Trump win in 2024. Nigel Farage interviewed Trump and actually said to him, I wouldn't keep talking about that. And Trump kind of gets defensive and says, well, listen, I'm talking about it because you brought it up, but then later says, but it was rigged. Okay, let's dive into this interview. Fascinating. Take a look at this.
My point to you is, if you're going to win this next year in November 2024, you're not going to win it talking about what happened last time.
But Nigel, you brought it up.
Haven't you got to send a positive message?
100%. You brought this up to me. I didn't bring it up to you.
No, sure.
You know, you mentioned something.
Yeah.
I said, look, it was rigged.
Yeah.
And I say that. I'll always say that. It doesn't mean that out of a 1-hour speech, I'm going to devote half of it to this. I might devote...
Except he kind of does.
10 seconds to it.
Okay.
But the election was rigged. It was a rigged election. It was a very dishonest election.
I don't know that Nigel Farage is correct. And what I mean by that is when you survey MAGA voters, they overwhelmingly believe that it was rigged. When you survey Republican voters in general, they also, to a lesser degree than the hardcore MAGA types, but they also have fallen for this idea that 2020 was rigged. So I don't have the answer empirically as to whether in a general election, on balance, the message that 2020 was rigged as part of a 2024 election brings voters in or pushes voters away. It's not obvious to me one way or the other, I think is the point that I'm trying to make. Trump continuing with the election was rigged stuff even during this interview.
The election was rigged, and Rupert Murdoch should have talked about it.
But Rupert Murdoch doesn't believe he can win a court case on that.
But Rupert Murdoch's wrong. And whoever settled this case for that much money, and I think it was an insult, not only to Fox, it was an insult to all the people that work there. It was an insult to everybody that knows what happened during that election. Number one, they didn't use the legislatures. Number two, if you just look into modern times, just look over the last couple of months. The FBI dealt with Twitter. They call it Twitter files.
Understand, none of this, it's not only that none of this proves it was rigged, none of this even relates to the election in a direct way.
That was cheating. Look at the 51 different...
I have no doubt about that.
Look at the 51 different intelligence agents, so-called intelligence agents. They all lied, 100%. They lied. All of this stuff is cheating. And then you look at Truth to Vote, where hundreds of thousands of ballots were stuffed in the ballot boxes.
They were stuffed with, usually we do like a ham and Gruyere, but they might have stuffed them with something different. So Trump's legal advice, remember his brilliant legal advice from the guy who lost 60-something court cases related to the 2020 election. His legal advice to Fox News was prove that Trump really won, and then by definition, it wouldn't have been defamation, where that ultimately Fox's lawyers did not go that way, and they agreed to pay $787.5 million to Dominion Voting Systems. Other items from this interview that are certainly interesting, Trump insisting that he will end the Russian incursion into Ukraine within 24 hours. Maybe in that wacky town hall that's scheduled for next week, Caitlin Collins can ask exactly how would he do that.
I will end that war in one day. It'll take 24 hours. I know Zelensky well. I know Putin well. I would get that ended in a period of...
You can break that deal.
100%. It would be easy. That deal would be easy. A lot of it has to do with the money. A lot of it has to do with the military, you know...
Trump would wrap it up quickly. He would go, listen, Ukraine goes to Putin. It's now part of Russia. Let's end this entire thing. In all seriousness, I would love for Trump to be pressed just once on exactly how he would end that conflict in 24 hours. The topic of the coronation of the new British king came up, and Trump says he was extraordinarily surprised that Biden would not be attending.
And Mr. Biden's not coming. What does that say about his relationship with the UK? Because we get the feeling here, yeah, he's very, very pro-Ireland. He completely ignores the fact that Biden is, in fact, an English name. He's got English relatives. He doesn't seem to like us very much.
I don't think he can do it physically, actually. I think that it's hard for him to do it physically. I think getting over here for him, he's got a lot of things going and a lot of strange things happen. But certainly he should be here as our representative of our country. I was surprised when I heard that he wasn't coming. You would think he would be here. He'll be in Delaware, where he spends a lot of time. He spent a lot of time there during the election.
In the bunker.
So I don't know, but it's...
It is bunker. So listen, there's a long-held tradition that American presidents don't go to British coronations. Jill Biden is going, and that's fine. But there's actually nothing particularly unusual about that. But again, this is an alternate universe. Sticking with the subject of royal elements, topics related to the royal family, Donald Trump said that Meghan Markle treated the Queen very disrespectfully, which, I mean, God, this is...
I think it's going to be a great day, and I think that they will do a great job.
Yeah.
And he loves the country. Really, I got to know him quite well, and he loves the country, really loves the country, and he loved his mother. And that's why I thought she was treated so disrespectfully by Meghan, and just no reason to do that. I was actually surprised that Harry was invited, to be honest.
There you go. Very, very surprising. And of course, Trump's the guy who truly disrespected the former queen. He was late and kept her waiting, and then he gracelessly stepped in front of her. I mean, just everything is backwards. Everything is the opposite of what this guy says. And then lastly, Nigel Farage asking Trump, so are you going to win next year? And Trump's response, not exactly projecting huge confidence.
Final thought. Are you going to win next year?
I think we have a very good chance. The economy is not good. I'll make it good. Everyone knows. You know, everyone knows. Even Democrats, they say, well, we agree that Putin would have never gone in. He would have. I told him, you're not going in.
So going into a word salad that's unrelated after saying, I think we've got a shot.
Putin would have never gone into Ukraine. President Xi of China would never even be talking about Taiwan. We had that conversation strongly. I stopped North Korea from doing some really bad things. And my relationship.
All right, so he goes and talks about other stuff. Trump does something that is often seen. I know that this is going to sound so pejorative, but I'm being totally serious. I'm not saying Trump is wildly mentally ill or anything like that. Like he might be, but I'm just not saying it here. There is an observation that is often done when someone is evaluated psychiatrically about whether they have this sort of like tangential thinking. And Trump has it to an incredible degree, where he simply asked, are you going to win next year? And he talks about his relationship with Kim Jong-un. And it's really, I mean, you call it a feature or a bug of Trump's speech, but it is there very strongly. So famous last words, I think who's the we? I think we have a good chance at winning in 2024. Bizarre interview, and all coming around the same time that Trump got some very bad legal news. Let's talk about that next. If you're like me and you love the nostalgia of enjoying a bowl of cereal sometimes as an adult, check out our sponsor, Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon is the breakfast cereal with the crunchy, sweet goodness you love, but with 0 grams of sugar, more protein, and only 4 to 5 net carbs. So it's perfect if you're doing low carb, if you're doing keto, if you're like me and you just don't want to eat a bunch of sugar. Magic Spoon has delicious flavors to choose from: cocoa, fruity, frosted peanut butter, honey nut, cinnamon roll, birthday cake. My favorite is maple waffle. And right now they have limited edition spring flavors, strawberry milkshake, and peaches and cream. Sometimes you just feel like sitting down with a bowl of cereal. When the mood strikes, go for something with plenty of protein without all the sugar. If you don't love Magic Spoon as much as I do and our team does, Magic Spoon will refund all of your money, no questions asked. Go to magicspoon.com/Pacman, create a custom bundle, use the code Pacman for $5 off. The link is down below.